All right, hey everybody, Ben here with We Go Fishing, and
Karen
is here with me, and we're going to do the fishing news of the week once again. But make sure you stick around to the end of the video, because if you remember last week's video, we were going to have a giveaway.
Yeah, we are.
And we're giving away the Super Clean.
And if nobody commented, I get to keep it.
You get to keep it, right? No, we actually had comments.
Aww.
What's so weird, and somebody need to explain this to me. We have lots of views on these things.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And we told people to comment.
Right.
But they just didn't.
Oh, so there's not that many.
No, so you have a pretty good chance, really.
Huh.
You have a pretty good chance of winning this stuff. What you're going to win is one of the aerosol cans, as well as one of the spray bottles, courtesy of Super Clean. And we'll announce the winner here at the end of this video, and then we'll get in contact with you here in the next couple of days. But we're going to get right to our top story, I guess. Do we want to say top story? We're like, breaking news. I don't know, but we'll do top story. We'll say a top story. And really the ongoing, what you want to call it, story in Texas is going to be the fish freeze. It's
really ongoing concern, really.
Ongoing concern. Yeah, we went fishing this last week, and there's not going to be a video of it because we got blown off the water, literally. If we did a video, it would be like, why not go fishing when the wind is blowing 25 to 30 miles per hour?
Well, we were already there. We wanted to go out, and we tried when the winds were low enough, but it still wasn't enough.
It just wasn't. No, it was pretty miserable out there.
It started out okay, but then within the hour, it got
we had
bad.
white caps on the flats. Let's just put it that way. White caps on the flats, and probably about 2 to 3 foot. I would say 2 to 3 foot waves
when we
in
were
the
trying
channels.
to go in the channel.
Yeah, so my skiff was
it was a bumpy ride.
It was a bumpy ride. It was fun.
I was soaking wet.
Yeah. So this is from the Texas Parks and Wildlife, and I wanted to show you this because I think this is important, especially those of us that are fishing in Texas. They released their findings, I guess preliminary findings. It says that 3.8 million fish killed by winter weather on the Texas coast. And I'm not going to read the whole story because it goes on for a while, but I do want to hit some highlights with you that I think will be pertinent, because that 3.8 million, that sounds like a lot. I mean, it really does. It sounds like a lot. It does say that the upper and lower Laguna Madre was the hardest hit. So if you're up by Galveston, and if you're up Beaumont area, all of that, you're probably not going to see quite the effects that we are down here. Probably maybe Rockport, all the way down to Padre.
Yeah. But lower Laguna Madre also. Yeah,
got hit pretty hard. So it says of the 3.8 million fish that were killed, the fish kill consisted of at least 61 species, and I'm not going to read them all to you, but there's a lot of ones that were part of this. Most of it says 91% though of that 3.8 million is non-recreational species. What we're talking about, there's hardhead catfish, pinfish, anchovies, the mullet, silver perch, things like that.
So that's the good news. The light at the end of the tunnel is that over 90% were fish that anglers don't normally want.
Right. The biggest.
If we catch a hardhead, we don't want that anyway.
And I think the biggest part of that also is going to be the bait fish took the hardest hit. Mm-hmm. That could impact things later for the size of fish, how fast they grow, and I guess how much demand there is for bait and things like that. I mean, it could affect things like that, but it means that they're not dead now. They may be migrating to find more food, which could impact things otherwise. But that's not really the point of this. 91% of the 3.8 non-recreational species. Recreational species account for the other 9%. Of that 9%, so you have to do some math here, and math is not my strong suit, so I'm not even going to try. But of the 9%, the hardest hit of that, almost 50% sea trout. And we knew that. We saw it. They're
weaker fish. They're not as hardy. If you're handling them too much, they die.
They die, right.
I mean, I'd expect that because
up north we used to call them weak fish. We actually did. That was the name.
Because they had a weak mouth.
Yeah, so they're not very strong.
Sometimes they'll come right off of your hook if they can rip out of it.
Yeah.
Their mouths are weak.
So almost half of them spotted sea trout, and then we've got another 30% black drum. Mm-hmm. So that black drum got hit pretty good too. So if you're seeing those big uglies, I know this is the time of year for them. That's coming for this month. Let them breed. They're going to be, let them go. Let them do their thing because they need to bounce back. That's my opinion, not forced. I'm not going to hate on anybody that keeps them. Of course, make sure you're keeping the regulations, but just consider that. Sheep's had 8%. The sand sea trout did a little better, 7%. Red drum only 3%. So that's not too bad. Red drum didn't seem to get hit all that bad.
The numbers of red drum that were killed are not that bad.
I would say statistically insignificant.
Yeah.
And then gray snapper and red snapper, not much there. So if there's anything I can say that is a positive in the numbers, as bad as they are sounding, and as much as we're seeing, that this is kind of positive in the estimates here.
If you keep to your regulations, I think you'd be okay keeping the red drum limit.
Yeah, I think red drum are going to bounce back. I would definitely pay attention. Black drum and sea trout this year. I'm just making the commitment to myself. I'm not keeping trout this year. Not even going to really target them.
Well, if this helps you with math, they said the estimate of those trout, the estimate is about 104,000 trout that died. So if you think about that, I don't think we catch that in a year with all the anglers put together.
That's what it says right here. Spotted sea trout, 104,000.
We have to be careful about those sea trout.
And it says most of this, though, most of it was in the upper Laguna Madre. And that's why, because that's where we fish. So that's why I'm just saying, you know what? For me, sea trout are going back. Black drum, we don't really target black drum anyway. If we catch them, it's kind of like on accident. But definitely the big uglies, put them back. I mean, definitely need to make sure those fish swim off strong. I believe so. Just consider that.
An estimate of 82,000 black drum died.
Yeah. So keep that in mind. But here's the other part, and this is what I thought was very important also in the article, is historical data. Because it sounds really bad. We say 3.8 fish, but unless you have a historical reference point, it doesn't really mean much. And so this is the historical part of it. And I'm just going to scroll down. 1983, they had a freeze. And actually, I was talking to a guy who remembers that freeze. And he was telling me about it. And that one was bad. 14.4 million fish killed. And that was the entire coast. So the entire coast of Texas got nailed, and that one was bad. Matter of fact,
from what I... 3 million?
3.8.
Wow.
Well, they tell me the reason why a lot of our modern regulations are because of this freeze in 83. That's when the trout got limited, and then that's when the limits started coming in, was that freeze that really put a hurt on things. And then 89, there was another freeze. So just a few years later, another freeze that killed 11.3. And that really hit East Matagorda all the way down to lower Laguna Madre. So that's our same area. And 89, they had another freeze in December of 89, 6.2. So the
2 freezes in 89.
2 freezes there. So if you really kind of...
So really, we've been blessed not to have a huge freeze until now.
Yeah, if you really look at it.
Quite a few years going without a freeze.
Yeah, so I mean, really,
that's a lot of replenishing.
That is, and so just keep that in mind. I think it is good news. I know it's YouTube. Good news doesn't sell on YouTube. Everybody wants the bad news, clickbaits and all that. But there is good. I know some of you are going to be haters. You're going to put it in the comments. But I'm not saying go willy-nilly and start taking limits every weekend. I know guides and stuff are out there, and I'm not telling you what to do about that. But what I am is trying to put it in a perspective and say, hey, it sounds really bad, but it's not as bad as it sounds. And just keep that in mind. They talk in the article here about their methodology, about how they collected this data. I'm not going to waste time with that. But if you want to, I'll put the link to this article in the description so you can read it yourself. But I'm thankful that Texas Parks and Wildlife did this work. Let us know what's going on with the fish, and I think there's some real positive news in this. And I'm not as concerned. I think I was concerned. Most of what we saw at the coast when we went down to the beach were hardhead catfish. I hate to see fish dead, but I'm not mourning that loss all that much.
But also keep in mind that if you're one of those who likes to keep a fish that is undersized, maybe like 1 or 2 inches, and you think you can get away with it, I think they're stepping up their game. So
I was talking with the game warden.
The game wardens are going to step up their game this year, and don't expect to get away with it.
Yeah. So just keep this in mind. But some good news here out of the winter weather event we had here in Texas. All right, let's go to the second story. Second story is this one here. Teen anglers' giant bluefish catfish was a, and here's the operative word, potential record breaker. We're never going to know.
Do we just not know because he didn't weigh it?
Well, what happened is 13 years old guy, and they said Mew, Mexico. It says Mew. And I was like, wow. I thought my typos were bad, but but it could have been on purpose because it's a catfish and Mew, meow.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I was trying to get a benefit of the doubt on that one. But reeled up a 55-pound blue catfish at Elephant Butte Lake. And it's Butte, I believe, not Butte. Although that I do want to say.
Well, it has the E at the end, making the U long.
Yeah, it's Butte. Anyway, it says the fish was a potential record breaker. The young man and his father chose to release the behemoth after obtaining a weight on a handheld scale rather than trying to locate a certified scale. So they didn't keep it.
I see.
They didn't keep it. So who knows really? They say it came out to be 55 pounds, but they wanted to let it go, being as big as it was. I don't think it would have tasted very good either, being that big. But
no, but man, that is really big.
The state record, 54 pounds 4 ounces, and it says they were using cut shad and then on a Muddy River Demon Dragon float. I don't know what that is, but apparently it was effective. And they caught that on February 22nd, which was announced on the February 22nd catch on March 4th is when it was reported. So that's a monster. A 13-year-old, quite a fish. I love to see kids fishing anyway, so this is just great.
The fact that he's holding this on his own is pretty good.
Yeah.
Because,
but,
he probably only weighs 100 pounds.
You see the fish grips on the side over here. That's pretty funny, I think. And it says, though, if you want to know the all-tackle world record for blue catfish, this is 143 pounds. Caught in Virginia's Kerr Lake in 2011. So massive, massive kitty cats out there.
Yeah.
I don't know how big they are in Texas. I almost looked it up to see how well they do. I don't know what the record is in Texas. If somebody knows the record here in Texas, tell us in the comments. Yeah, for blue catfish. I know that Browning has some big ones.
I mean, we've eaten plenty of blue catfish, and we've eaten them all this size, and they're pretty good.
Good sizes.
You can't see the camera, about this size.
About that size, yeah.
That's good eating size.
Good eating size. All right, last article that we'll take a look at is this one. Anglers, great whites. This one's kind of interesting, I think.
This one makes me not want to vacation at Myrtle Beach.
Whenever you go in the ocean, remember, you're not at the top predator in the ocean. Some people forget you're playing in their house now. First shark I caught off the beach here in Texas, and Mom was like running, like scooping up her children and running off the beach with them because she saw a shark coming in. And I went up to the dad and I said, it's not to be afraid of. It was a littler shark. It wasn't dangerous. Probably more afraid of us than we are of him. But I said, hey, remember, you're playing in their house. This is where they live. This is where they do their thing. So anyway, it says an entangled North Atlantic right whale was found dead off of South Carolina February 22nd, and several great white sharks were spotted by an airplane crew. And so this captain developed a plan to go find out what was going on. He managed to locate the carcass and discovered that it had been transformed into a multi-ton buffet for at least 7 and possibly more great white sharks. He said he's never seen anything like it. Sharks were circling our boat for an entire 8 hours. Ugh. Jaws, you're going to need a bigger boat, right?
You should see. Oh, you can see these pictures.
I'll scroll the pictures in a second. They were biting the boat. They were pushing the boat. They were biting the mowers. We had to pull the motors out of the water.
I think I would have been freaking out.
This guy, this is an experienced captain.
Oh, look what he says. I felt nervous.
Yeah, I felt nervous. There were just so many in the area. I couldn't imagine. You see these great whites just banging on your boat and chomping on the motors. You're like, get off.
It looks like they didn't even attempt to catch them. No, they were just ramming the boat.
Just ramming them.
And look at those mouths. So if you're on the beach in South Carolina this year, be aware that there are great whites.
Yes, if you're in South Carolina, you should be aware that
don't go too far into the water.
Great whites in the water.
And kayaks need to watch out for them too.
Yeah, I've seen actually hammerheads can get bull sharks too. Bull sharks can get real aggressive. It says they were tagging them. They were attempting to tag them. Tagging is important. He said they were able to tag specifically a 12-footer and a 16-foot great white shark.
They could swallow you, couldn't they?
Yeah, that's a
wow.
It said, unfortunately, this right whale died after being entangled in commercial fishing gear. So that's
So the sharks were after the whale?
Yeah, that they were eating the whale. I mean, it's just nature doing its thing. North Atlantic right whales are critically endangered. So this is that's the shame part of it, is that is an endangered species, and then this one died an untimely death because fishermen equipment. And I don't know how often that happens, but the leading cause of death for these whales is human interaction, fishing gear entanglement, and vessel strike.
Yeah.
So, great white sharks show off the South Carolina in early winter after the apex predators' summer and early feeding season at seals off of Massachusetts. So, there you go. If you are in South Carolina or anywhere in that area, you're not the biggest thing in the water.
Well, if they can eat a seal, they can eat a person.
Yeah. All right, before we get to the catches of the week, we do want to do the giveaway. Before we do the giveaway, make sure you also check out our friends over at Saltwater Born. They've got some great apparel. We've got a couple of their shirts here. They've got ones for now in New Jersey. And they have, of course, the Texas collection. And, of course, their base is in Florida and Key West. So make sure you check out them as well. And let's go ahead and do the random giveaway for the...
For the comments.
For the comments. And what I've done here is I've taken the video URL, and this is a random comment picker. I'm going to filter duplicate users because some of you try and cheat. I'm not saying who, some of you do. So we'll get the YouTube comments here. It says we have six unique comments.
Wow.
So you have a good chance. You got a good chance here. All right. So we're going to start the raffle, pick the winner, and like I said, we'll contact you, or hopefully you'll watch the video, you'll see your name come up. But what we'll do is we'll contact you, get your mailing address, and again, if you're not in the United States, you're not eligible. Sorry about that, but that's just the way it works. I can't change that. I don't make the rules. All right, so here we go. Let's click start, and the winner is M&K Outdoors.
All right.
All right, great people. And this is a great time to tell you, go over and check out their channel as well. He and his daughter are up in New Jersey, and they do fishing together, father-daughter. So if you like family fishing videos like we do, you can check out M&K Outdoors as well. And congratulations to them, and M&K will get in contact with you and make sure you get this stuff from Super Clean.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can check that out. And thank you to Super Clean for providing these products to our viewers.
Well, congrats.
Congrats, guys. And let's go ahead and get on to the catches of the week.
Oh, yeah. Check these out.